I need Ghosty the rag. I've been using this glue rag for almost 30 years. Alright guys, welcome back. We are going to be doing a side repair on this guitar. As I had shown in the previous video, if you haven't seen it, please watch it because then you'll know what this is. As you can see, there's a crack that runs the full length, and I colloquially call this as a clamshell because, well, it looks like a clam. So what we're going to do is we're going to start down here at the end and work our way up. I've already gotten my spool clamps pre-fitted. On the surface this looks like a really simple repair, but because there are these extra cracks out here at the edge and the way that this is cracked up here where it's kind of on a cleave in this direction, this wants to slip in. The major temptation is to make up a bunch of those spool clamps and then glue them all together at once. I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to do my darndest to not get glue into this extra crack so that way I can glue this at a later point in time. To protect the inside, I've got a section from my favorite publication, fold it in half and then stick it in lengthwise into the guitar with the cracks on the other side. I definitely don't want any errant glue drips getting in there locking these into place. The other thing that we're going to need is a wet rag and potentially paper towels, but for the most part this will do what we need to do. Without further ado, here we go. So we're just going to get right in here, and I'm going to start by kind of wiggling it into there. I don't want a huge amount of glue, but just enough to cover the surface. I want to make sure that it's going to get in there. I'm going to use my finger, rub it back and forth, scrape off some excess. First clamp goes on. You've got about 3.5 minutes of open time before things go awry. And so far, this is disappearing surprisingly well. So I'm going to move on to my next segment. And again, I'm only working 3 to 4 inches at a time because any more than that gets really scary. Again, the trick is watching the closure and making sure that you're not loosening up behind yourself. So here, where I've got these extra cracks, that's where I'm going to want to start being careful. Next up, again, having these pre-fitted is one of the best things that you can do. And all in all, this is actually coming together rather nicely and surprisingly quickly. An ounce of time here will save you hours upon hours of work trying to undo this because you tried to do too much all at once. So I'm about to the point now where I've ended my glue seam and I want to stop, but I don't want this to be held open. So I always like to put one last clamp just past where I need it to be and level that, because remember, glue, especially this high glue, has some capillary action to it, so it's going to want to run. So I know now that I'm up to here, and I'm very happy with that. That actually came together really nicely. You'll want to go back and make sure that your clamps are tight, and that is it. That's all we're going to have to do. It's pretty easy if you know what you're doing, and maybe if you have a guitar of your own, maybe not quite as nice as this, but it's something that you want to try. I highly recommend it. I'm not going to worry too much about this glue. It'll clean up later on with a little bit of water. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.